Great. I'll take the waiting room. Harry, I'll turn this over to you.
Cool. Great. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Great to see everyone. As John said, this is a bit of a sneak peek for next week's summit. We haven't done this before, but we wanted to use this as an opportunity to give people a chance to kind of see what's coming up and think about how to best use the time next week. I think practically about sessions and networking. We're really pleased to host you all next week in DC. It's our third summit. Every year it's morphed and transformed a little bit. I think we started in the first year with it was actually before my time, but what was it, John? 100 people or so. Second summit, 250 people. This year it's really getting big. We're expecting nearly 500 people or so. So yeah, we're going to have a great crowd of all the apprenticeship enthusiasts across the country all in one place. We've got some really fantastic speakers and workshops lined up. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it. So today we're going to spend about like 15, 20 minutes up front just talking through the kind of format, content, logistics, how it's going to work, and then we'll have some time for questions. So feel free to ask anything, content or logistics, literally anything. We'll keep this informal. Feel free, you can ask questions as we go along in the chat or use the hand function in Zoom, and we'll try and pick them up. Ethan, who's part of the AFA team and has been doing a fantastic job, putting together this summit, is going to talk us through the summit and the content and how it's going to work. So yeah, that's all I was going to say up front. So I'm going to pass over to you, Ethan.
Thanks, Harry. Thanks, John, and thanks to you all for being here. I really appreciate everyone's time. Like Harry said, this is going to be our biggest and hopefully best yet summit. I'll be running us through some of the numbers behind what the summit will look like. We'll go through our plenaries, which have just been posted on our website. So if you want to check in on that, they are live now on the summit website. We'll talk at a high level about our schedule, and then we'll really want to just spend as much time as we can on questions. So really looking forward to hearing what questions you might have. Certainly, if your question doesn't get addressed, either in the chat or as a question you provide out loud, you can always email us. We have a couple of different email addresses. You can email myself or Harry or John. It's just our first name dot our last name at afamail.org, or you can email us at afasummit@afamail.org. So with that, let's dive in. All right, so as Harry said, our summit is going to be from Tuesday, May 19th to Thursday, May 21st. It's going to be at the wonderful Omni Shoreham Hotel in Washington, D.C. Right now, we're looking at about 500 attendees. That is a great turnout. About 120 of those folks are going to be speaking in some form or fashion. We're going to have 5 plenaries, which are sort of our keynote sessions. That's when we're all going to get together, all 500 of us in a big room, and hear from some really fantastic speakers. And then we have 30 workshop sessions that are going to include some of those 120 speakers talking about all different types of things related to our apprenticeship ecosystem. There are a few different pre-conferences that we have going on. So Tuesday, the May 19th is when we'll start the 2 pre-conferences that you may know about, but if you haven't heard about them yet, you can still certainly sign up, are the Power of Apprenticeship Degrees. This is presented by Reach University. And this is all about, as the title suggests, apprenticeship degrees. You're going to get some really amazing perspectives from learners, employers, educational institutions, folks from state and federal government, all about the policy, funding, and implementation of these apprenticeship degree programs. It's going to be a really, really wonderful session. We've already got more than 50 people signed up. So if you want to join the party, certainly you can do that via your registration. If you've already registered and you want to sign up for either of these pre-conferences, again, please just reach out to us and we'll be happy to accommodate. The other really wonderful session that we've got going on is our apprenticeship boot camp. So this is sponsored by Public Consulting Group, and this is really designed for folks who are new to the world of apprenticeship. We've got 4 different speakers who are going to be facilitating this. They are really awesome apprenticeship experts. I think combined, they've got somewhere close to about 50 years of apprenticeship experience. Pretty amazing amount of expertise in that room. And we're going to be going through everything from policy and governance to funding, partnership development, awareness generally about all things apprenticeship. After the pre-conferences at 5 o'clock, we will have a happy hour. And again, all of you who have registered are more than welcome to join us. And that happy hour, I should say, is going to be sponsored by Create Coding Careers. So very pleased to have them as our sponsor. All right, so now as the fun part where I get to talk about our plenaries, we've been feverishly getting these lined up, and we're so thrilled with who we have on board for these. Again, you can visit our summit website to check these out in a little bit more detail and learn about the sessions and learn about the speakers, but I'll briefly go through the 5 plenaries that we do have. We're starting off first thing on Wednesday morning. That's Wednesday, May 20th at 8:30 a.m. with a session all about states leading on apprenticeship. We have the wonderful Rachel Lipson from Harvard and the Aspen Institute as our moderator. We're pleased to have Secretary of Labor Jessica Lumen from Virginia, Secretary of Labor, I should say, Lauren Jones from Massachusetts, and Director of the Alabama Office of Apprenticeships, Meredith Smith. So really wonderful panel to start us off. We'll then have our second plenary in the middle of the day on Wednesday. And this is all about designing business-led solutions to apprenticeship expansion. Our moderator is going to be Jen G from IBM, and we have a whole host of amazing speakers, everyone from Roger Collins with Cushman & Wakefield, Becca Driscoll with Accenture, Francesca Feliciano from Aon, Bridget Willey from UW Health Work Forward, and then a couple of our sponsors are also going to be providing some introductory remarks. That's Michelle Sims from UPro Placement and Eric Westfall from Europe United. So again, the focus is going to be on how the businesses in our apprenticeship ecosystem are designing some solutions to advance apprenticeship in a meaningful way from their perspective. Very, very exciting, very close to my heart. I've been working on that project with that group for quite a while. So that's number 2 of our 5. Our third plenary and the final one on Wednesday is going to be focused on apprenticeship and AI. We have a couple of really amazing, or I should say a few more than a couple of really amazing speakers for this one. So we're pleased to be joined by Nathan Bomey, who is a business reporter for Axios as our moderator. We are going to have some introductory remarks from Mike Monroe, who's the chief of staff with NAB2. And our panel is going to include Jennifer Carlson from Apprenti, Philip Minardi from Build Within, Brent Parton from CareerWise USA, and Dr. Raul Gabriel Urma from Cambridge Spark. So again, some really wonderful panelists who will be sharing all their insights about AI and how it's going to impact our world of apprenticeship. And then on Thursday, to close things out, we will have 2 plenaries. We'll be ending the day right around 2 o'clock. So in the morning, we'll hear from some folks from the current Trump administration and their perspectives on registered apprenticeship. We're pleased to have Lauren Kauri-Gurley from the Washington Post as our moderator, and Mr. Merrick Lako, who is from the U.S. Department of Labor, along with David Langdon from the U.S. Department of Commerce, are going to join us and provide, again, the perspectives of the Trump administration. Really pleased to have them joining us and appreciate them making the time to do so. And then we're going to end things on a bang. I feel like all of these are a bit of a bang, but yeah, we're really pleased to have a session all about congressional leadership to close us out on Thursday. Heather Long from the Navy Federal Credit Union, who is their chief economist and formerly with the Washington Post. She is going to be our moderator. And we're extremely excited to have Congresswoman Val Hoyle and Congressman Johnny Olszewski joining us for that session to talk about how they and their congressional colleagues are leading the way on registered apprenticeship. But that's not all. We've got so much more. So you can see an expanded version of this calendar, of this layout on our website, again, our Summit website. So if you want to learn more about any of the workshops, you can go there. The first thing I would say is show up early for each day. We've got our breakfast plenaries on both Wednesday and Thursday starting right at 8:30 a.m. We'll have a break kind of in between our major sessions. So we will transition into the first workshops of the day. Each one of our workshop breaks is going to have 5 workshops running simultaneously. So you'll be a little bit spoiled for choice, but hopefully you'll find something that suits your interests and expertise. We'll then have a showcase. We have some wonderful sponsors who are really excited to show off the work that they're doing to support the registered apprenticeship ecosystem. And they'll be presenting their products and various goings on at our showcase. We'll then go back into workshops, take another break. We'll have our lunch plenary. That sort of pattern will continue into the afternoon. So we'll have another couple of workshops going on throughout the afternoon, and then we'll finish off the day with our evening plenary about AI in apprenticeships. We will also be having our very first ever American Apprenticeship Awards ceremony, which we're very excited about. We're going to be honoring some really notable champions and apprentices and businesses and organizations and innovators in the across the country in the world of apprenticeship. And then, of course, because we can't let you get away without a good time, we're going to ask you to join us for our evening reception, which is sponsored by Opportunity at Work. So that will be Wednesday. And then on Thursday, again, we're going to be having a bit of a shorter day. In the very early morning, we are going to have a consultants network meeting. This is a sort of gathering for folks who are consultants in the apprenticeship space. Certainly open to anyone who's interested in joining. If that is something you're interested in, please feel free to reach out to me or my colleagues here, Harry and John. Then we'll go into our breakfast plenary. And again, we'll have 2 session blocks, I should say, workshop session blocks. We'll also have another showcase and coffee break in the middle of the day. And then we will wrap things up with our congressional leadership plenary. So jam-packed and full of cool stuff. A few things to make sure you don't miss. As I mentioned, our very first national awards. We are sort of standing on the shoulders of giants in a way with our own awards ceremony here. There are many smaller awards that go out across various states in the country. But what we really wanted to do was to bring together, since we have such a broad coalition of you, to bring together everybody under one roof and celebrate folks from all across the country. We'll be doing that again on Wednesday. Our reception will immediately follow. Opportunity at Work is our generous sponsor, and we're really pleased for a little program that they're going to be presenting. And then again, so many awesome plenaries that will be happening. I really encourage you to attend those. And that's also where the food is going to be out. So you definitely won't want to miss it. All right. And to cap things off, some useful resources can be found here with this QR code. You can certainly access it now if you would like. It includes a full schedule of events. It includes all the information on our plenaries, workshop sessions, a venue map, more information about all of our many amazing sponsors. And currently, the attendee list that is there is not complete because, again, we're still about a week out. We anticipate quite a few more people signing up, but that is the current attendee list if you are so inclined to check it out. And with that, I believe, Harry, that's our last slide. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, if folks have questions, feel free to either put those in the chat or you can sort of raise your hand using the raise hand function in Zoom, and we would love to call on you and answer your question. All right, I see we have a question. Are spouses or guests able to join the receptions? So we do have a invite link, or rather a registration link for the evening reception on Wednesday only. So if you have someone who is not registered for the summit as in its entirety, you can absolutely have them sign up for just the evening reception by using that link. Harry or John, if one of you could just pop that into the chat, that'd be great. But you can find that on our summit website. I see Rick, you're raising your hand. Go ahead.
Sure. Thanks for putting this is an incredible program. Really good work by you guys, and I'm not surprised.
Thanks.
I Somebody posted about whether you're using an app for it. I would say that WOVA was the app. WHOVA was the app we used for the Close It Summit, or that they used for that, and that was actually really well organized, well structured. My question is in particular. I'm very interested in the topic of AI and apprenticeships, and I'm looking to
Mhm.
start socializing an agreement where we bring together a small employer working group to define AI native and AI augmented careers. And I'd been planning to do that in what now sounds like it's called the employer-led session. And now I'm realizing that the
Mhm.
AI apprenticeships in AI is probably the more appropriate session for that. And I'm just curious, like, would the best play for that just to be to try to reach out to the chair of that session and just see if there's a way to get a potential call out or mention of that in such a meeting, or is that out of turn because it's kind of my own agenda?
Yeah, I mean, great question. I would say, Rick, if you can email myself and John and Harry, just because right now our plenary schedules, frankly, are quite tight. An hour is frankly not nearly enough for having four panelists on the stage. It's we'd like a lot more, but yeah, if you can send us a message, and we can certainly see what we can do.
And
Great.
Rick, I'd
Thank you.
say even if we can't work out a way to figure out how to interact with that plenary, obviously we've got a broader agenda here post summit, so we can work out a way to get a group together.
Perfect. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely. Thanks, Rick. All right, I'll go through a few more questions that came up in the chat. Is there going to be a printed version of the schedule and maps available? So there will be a sort of summarized printed version of the schedule that will be on our programs. It won't have the details of every single one of our 30 workshop sessions. That's something that you'll need to use the QR code to access. We will have kind of scattered around the venue a full printout that does include those workshop sessions. But again, just based on the resources we had available, we were not able to put every single one of those 30 sessions on our program. So you can find all of those virtually. Yeah, missed taking a screenshot of the attendee list. Yep, we can definitely share that QR code. There is a link right there that Harry just put in that comment under Noah. So if anyone is interested in finding all the links that are attached to that QR code, it's everything beyond the attendee list as well. You can find it right there. All right, and then a question from Leanne. Could you remind us how to tell if we are registered for the 2 to 5 p.m. Tuesday sessions? Great question. So the first thing I would say is you should be able to find that on the invoice or receipt that you received of payment. So the details of the sort of extras is what we had it in our registration system as. It should be in there. If you still can't find it that way, certainly you can send us an email and we will provide that to you to let you know which session, if any, you are registered for. And if you haven't registered for a session again, and you'd like to get into one of those pre-conferences, feel free to reach out. We'll happily add you on. Any other questions? You can feel free to put them in the chat, or you can use that raise hand function. Okay. What sessions are Harry and John going to be attending? That's the real question that everyone wants to know.
It's going to be really hard to choose. I'm going to tell you that. And the truth is, we're delighted to have so many people at the session at the conference. But we will also have a few of our workshops are going to probably have standing room only. And so I encourage you, if you are interested, particularly interested in a session, get there early because we will probably have to close a few of our workshop sessions just due to size. So that's a little bit of a pro tip for you. But I can just say we are enormously gratified by the interest we had in presenting at the conference, and we really have great presenters and great panels. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that note, I saw Elizabeth's question for session organizers. Do you have examples or tips for how to share action items for the attendees at the end of the session? Yeah, absolutely. So you can certainly collect folks' emails as individuals are walking in so that you can distribute any kind of follow-up that you would like. The other thing to do is we will be collecting all of the presentations, materials, follow-up items from all of the session organizers, and we will then distribute that out to all of our attendees after the summit. So if there are follow-up items, if there are resources you want to share, you'll have an opportunity to do that with not just the people who are at your session, but as John mentioned, maybe some of the people who unfortunately couldn't make it in because it was just too packed of a house. So be on the lookout for some follow-up on that after the fact.
And just from doing it myself, I'd really recommend just sticking a QR code at the end of your presentation. You can get a QR code with a link to resources, or you can use a QR code to really quickly gather a list of who was in the room or something like that. That can be a really good way to share those action items.
Great questions. Any final thoughts? Let's see, Vinny, are any of the presentations repeated at later times or days in case we have to pick one over the other? I wish, but no, we might be there for 3 days if that were the case. Yeah, unfortunately, we aren't going to have the capability to repeat any of the sessions. But again, you will have a chance to get resources, presentation materials from all of the session presenters after the summit concludes. Awesome.
Great.
Last question here before we wrap up. Are any of the plenary sessions being recorded? There is one plenary session that is being recorded for a podcast, I believe. But otherwise, the plenary sessions will not be recorded. We will be workshop sessions, I should say. Workshop sessions not being recorded. Plenary sessions will be recorded. Yes. So those will all be recorded, and we're excited to share out the video of that after the fact. Great. I guess I will, at this point, pass it back to Harry and John to say goodbye. And just again, thank you all for being here and very excited to see you at the summit.
Yeah, I'll just say, can't wait to see you in just a couple of days. If you have questions, concerns, anything that you need, want to have addressed before you show up on next week, just reach out to us, AFA Summit at AFA Mail. No, Summit? No, AFA Summit, right? AFA Summit at afamail.org. We'd be happy to jump on getting answers for you. And thank you so much for showing up for this pre-conference session. You're already smarter than me because I'm always getting on a plane and wondering what I'm going to do with the session. You now have an opportunity to plan your session and get the most out of it. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.